Welcome to the year of baseball. As we welcome in the new year, I want to take a look back at the 2023 Major League Baseball season, one of the most memorable, entertaining baseball seasons in recent memory. And the year got off to a bang with the return of the World Baseball Classic. The 2023 WBC returned bigger and better than ever after a 6-year hiatus. 20 countries participated in the tournament, from the underdog Czech Republic, comprised of a team of firefighters and high school teachers, to the powerhouse United States, who finally had a dream team, at least on the hitting side. The world got to see superstar talents like Shohei Ohtani, Randy Arozarena, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Hassan Kim, and of course the captain Mike Trout. But we also witnessed the birth of cult heroes like Yu Chang, Reynaldo Rodriguez, Alexis Wilson, and Duque Hebert. The 21-year-old kid who signed a minor league contract with the Detroit Tigers after striking out 3 of the best hitters in the world.
Pero siempre mantuve la calma, confianza en mí para hacer mi trabajo y ahí están los resultados y doy gracias a Dios y a mi familia.
And oh yeah, you like stories? This classic was full of them. From the Czech electrician who struck out Shohei Ohtani to one-time top prospect Jose de Leon, starting an unofficial perfect game for Team Puerto Rico.
Keep the ball. I'm telling you, you keep that ball now. What a performance.
Cuba allowed select defects to play on the national team for the first time in WBC history, and Japan unleashed the rise of Nootbaar. Team Mexico shocked the world with the undisputed Cinderella run of the tournament. However, their legendary run came to an end in the semifinals against Team Japan. Superstar Masataka Yoshida came up with one of the most iconic swings in WBC history, tying up the semifinal game at 3 in the 7th inning.
It's gone! It's tied! An iconic swing!
Shohei Ohtani led off the 9th with a double, and 2 batters later, Munetaka Murakami, the 2-time MPB MVP who had been struggling all tournament long, redeemed himself with a come-from-behind walk-off double to send Japan to the title game. Meanwhile, the United States beat Venezuela in a back-and-forth thriller behind the heroics of Trey Turner.
Swinging a fly ball, left field, deep, did he do it? Grand slam! And the U.S. leads 9-7.
And bombarded Cuba in the semifinals, setting up the much-anticipated Battle of the Titans. It was a nice, tight game all throughout, but of course, 100 years from now, if humans are still a thing, this game will be undoubtedly remembered for its final at-bat. Shohei Ohtani versus Mike Trout.
Impossible theater. The regal excellence of Japan, the overwhelming talent of the United States. And in a 1-run game with 2 gone in the 9th inning, the dream matchup. Ohtani, Trout. As Benji Gill said last night, baseball's already won.
Angels teammates facing off, the 2 undisputed best players of their generation. The World Championship on the line. Man, the scriptwriters gave us a good one. After 4 straight Ohtani triple-digit heaters, the count naturally goes full. With 2 outs in the top of the 9th, Team Japan leading the US by 1 measly run. Shohei completely fools Mike Trout with a nasty 87-mile-per-hour sweeper to strike him out, and Japan is back on top of the baseball world.
He struck him out! Ohtani strikes out Trout, and Japan's back on top of the baseball world.
Look, I don't know if you're religious or not, but if you do believe in a higher power, they gotta be huge baseball fans, don't you think?
You think God likes baseball, Herb?
And if it wasn't already apparent to any lingering doubters, this officially signified Mike Trout passing the torch of best player in baseball to Mr. Shohei Ohtani. This tournament brought in droves of baseball fans. Where leaders were talking about it, JJ Watt and Patrick Mahomes were tweeting about it. The final and WBC in general produced all sorts of TV tickets and revenue records in the US, Japan, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and the world in general. Not bad for a bunch of meaningless exhibition games. Overall, the World Baseball Classic was a resounding success. And what made it pretty unique, other than being a totally awesome tournament, was that this was the final time we saw Major League action with the old rules.
This is the game we all want to see. Get the ball, pitch the ball. Keep the defense on their toes. Field like Ozzie, run like Ricky. So get that shift out of here.
For the 2023 season, MLB implemented 4 key rule changes: bigger bases, a limit on pickoff attempts, restrictions on the shift, and the much beloved pitch clock. MLB felt that the game needed more action, more balls in play, more athleticism, and desperately needed a faster pace of play.
The oldest player to make his major league debut, a position player, Jeff Nelson, had to call a strike on him because he wasn't ready to hit.
And did MLB accomplish all this? Well, for the most part, yes. The average time of a 9-inning game declined to 2 hours and 39 minutes, a figure not seen in nearly 4 decades. Balls put into play found more holes, particularly for left-handed hitters. Players ran amok on the base paths, as we had an insane 3,503 stolen bases in 2023, the 4th highest total since 1900. And we saw an average of 9.23 runs per game in 2023, up from 2022's 8.57 runs per game. Now, the new rules couldn't really solve the league-wide strikeout rate, which increased again in 2023. Combined with more walks and hit by pitches, 2023 actually saw less balls in play than in 2022. That being said, overall attendance crossed the 70 million threshold for the first time since 2017, likely due in part to the new rules. The year-to-year increases from 2022 to 2023 in both total attendance and attendance per game were the largest increases since 1998 and 1993, respectively. Aside from attendance, MLB increased its sponsorship revenue, local TV viewership, and MLB.TV subscriptions, including a 16% increase in games watched on MLB.TV amongst the Gen Zers. The MLB.TV stats are even more amazing when you consider the fact that you can't watch your favorite baseball team unless you're a morally ambiguous baseball fan. As a top fan, I can neither confirm nor deny my moral ambiguity. Another rule change that kinda went under the radar was the new balanced schedule. Teams now face division opponents less often, but do play every single team in MLB. In 2023, that meant that a city like St. Louis got to welcome Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, while Dodger fans got to see Aaron Judge go toe-to-toe with their right field fence.
Is caught by Aaron Judge! It is so much more than just the home runs. He is Superman!
In all seriousness, though, I thought it was a pretty neat, underrated move for 2023 and beyond.
Ronald goes! There it is! He did it! A 40-70 season, and a season unlike any other in Major League Baseball history for Ronald Acuña Jr.
Think of the new rules in 2023 and one player stands out in particular, Ronald Acuña Jr. In 2023, a fully healthy Ronald Acuña became the first player in MLB history with a 40 home run, 70 stolen base season, en route to a unanimous NL MVP award. Of course, he wasn't the only one. The once-in-a-lifetime talent Shohei Ohtani also unanimously won the AL MVP award for another really bad Angels team.
There's a drive! Shohei Ohtani gets the Angels on the board with his 30th home run! An absolute rocket! This ball went 493 feet.
That's it?
Shohei's historic 2023 season helped him net $700 million in free agency, the largest contract ever in professional sports history. That might seem like a lot, but don't worry, it's good for baseball.
And I think it's great for baseball.
But it wasn't just the MVPs. Gunnar Henderson and the electric Corbin Carroll won unanimous Rookie of the Year awards in their respective leagues. The power-hitting Henderson had a rookie season reminiscent of 2016 Corey Seager. And like Acuña, Carroll made history by becoming the first rookie ever to hit over 25 home runs and steal over 50 bases. The young talent all throughout baseball was actually a huge storyline in 2023. Further proof that at least athletically, the game is in good hands. On the pitching side, Gerrit Cole unanimously finally won the AL Cy Young after possibly getting snubbed in 2019. and Blake Snell had one of the weirdest Cy Young seasons ever after leading the league in ERA and walks. But what about players on the comeback? Well, Jason Hayward and Cody Bellinger swapped longtime homes and had resurgent seasons, with Cody in particular looking like the belly of old and winning the NL Comeback Player of the Year. On the AL side, Liam Hendriks came back from a stage 4 cancer diagnosis to win the AL Comeback Player of the Year. And who can forget about Osuna from the Braves, who hit just about the quietest 40 home runs you'll ever see. In fact, Osuna hit so many home runs that at one point, the Braves announcers forgot to, announce one of them.
Osuna. Whose inning is this?
Mine! Stretch! You can put it on the board! Yeah!
This occurred on June 8th in an epic Braves comeback 13-10 win against the baby brother Mets, one of the games of the year.
And that'll do it! Woo! Start the buses! Pour Larry a crown! Oh, man! Oh, it's time to eat! That will do it!
But what made this game even more entertaining was the Braves broadcast booth, which consisted of former Braves legends just goofing around and talking ball.
Doggy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing even better now that I know how much Smoltzy was upset by that chick that did the long ball commercial.
So if you have the chance to watch, I definitely recommend it. Take notes, ESPN. There were so many awesome comebacks in games of the year in 2023 that are too many to list right here, but feel free to check out this epic video from EXE Edits. Of course, if you just want to know the largest comeback of the year, that belongs to the Pittsburgh Pirates, who raced a 9-run deficit against the rival Reds to win 13-12.
The Pirates have tied the game! You gotta be kidding me! They're gonna boo the Reds out of Cincinnati!
Essentially ending Cincinnati's playoff aspirations. Other random highlights of 2023? Well, the Tampa Bay Rays started 13-0 against quote-unquote fake teams. The White Sox won a game on a walk-off hit by pitch, off the umpire. And for some reason, the Kansas City Royals turned into a World Series contender whenever they played the Houston Astros. Who can forget the Angels outscoring the Rockies 32-12 in 3 games at Coors Field, and still losing that series against the NL version of themselves? Stud pitcher George Kirby showed that his actions speak louder than his words, as he went the distance twice in 2023, and the Mariners still lost both of those games. Seattle. I still don't know who had a more epic collapse in 2023, you or Chicago.
Murphy, shallow right center, but it hangs up in the air. Oh, dropped it! He dropped the ball!
Speaking of epic collapses, it's pretty funny that the 3 biggest spenders in 2023, the Mets, Padres, and Yankees, were downright bad for most of the season.
I'm sure that boot's been thrown out. And he's showing the pitch that is being caught. Then he's mimicking Laz Diaz.
And historically winning franchises like the Red Sox, Giants, and Cardinals were just plain mid.
And the runner goes from second to third on a tapper back to the mound, and it's overthrown. 1 run's gonna score, and here comes the game winner. How do you like that?
Meanwhile, the Cincinnati Reds were in the playoff hunt until the end of September.
Major league debut. Oh, goodness! That ball had a family!
And even the Pirates, Tigers, and Nationals showed at least some signs of optimism. We got to watch 4 no-hitters in 2023. Framber Valdez against Cleveland, Detroit's combined no-hitter against Toronto.
Man, holy shit, how about that, Detroit? How about us taking it through the rain? Let's go! Come on, yeah!
And Michael Lorenzen in his first start as a Philly. We also saw the 24th perfect game in Major League history, and the first since the King in 2012, when Domingo Germán tossed his masterpiece on June 28th versus the Oakland A's at the Coliseum.
Grounded to third. Donaldson has it. There it is. Perfection for Domingo Germán.
And everyone was happy for him. Speaking of the Coliseum, on June 13th, the Oakland fanbase organized a reverse boycott to make their voices heard against the most popular man in the Bay Area. I actually got the chance to attend this game, and the atmosphere was one of the most electric I've ever been a part of, as the A's came back to beat the vastly superior Rays 2-1. Unfortunately, they're still moving to Vegas in 2028, but if history has taught us anything, I'm sure the local fan base will welcome them with open arms. On the international side, the Padres and Giants played in Mexico City at the Coors Field on steroids, combining for 37 runs and 15 home runs in 2 games. MLB also traveled to the UK, where London hosted 2 bitter rivals, the Chicago Cubs and St. Louis Cardinals. And at one point, it even felt like we were in a video game. Speaking of video games, here's the brand new trailer for WWE 2K24.
And another hustle double. Right over the bag at first. Now Hosey and Anderson square off. They're fighting. They're swinging. Down goes Anderson. Down goes Anderson.
That's Guardians legend Jose Ramirez KOing Tim Anderson. And so finally, we had an actual fight down in Cleveland. Like a real squaring up, punches flying, shirt-inspiring baseball fight.
Down goes Anderson! Down goes Anderson!
A baseball fight that gave us this little gem from Tito Francona.
You know, it's not funny, but when I came in, I'm listening to Hammy, it's hard not to chuckle. I mean, again, it's not funny, but boys will be boys.
And of course, it wouldn't be baseball without saying goodbye to legends like Tito, who retired after an incredible 23-year Hall of Fame career as a baseball manager. The ageless Nelson Cruz, the iconic Miguel Cabrera,
24, our father, Miguel Cabrera,
the multi-talented Adam Wainwright,
and the whole other breath.
Just a few of the names that we said goodbye to in 2023. And that doesn't even include the swaggy Joey Votto, the savage Zach Greinke, or the generational Clayton Kershaw, whose 2024 seasons are still up in the air. As you can see, the 2023 season was certainly one for the ages, and it extended well past the regular season and into the All-Star Game festivities in Seattle. The 2023 MLB Draft received a lot of hype, more so than I can personally recall.
All right, with the first pick of the 2023 MLB Draft, the Pittsburgh Pirates pick Paul Skeens, right-handed pitcher from LSU.
You'll certainly remember the name Paul Skeens. He of the 80 grade, high-octane, 100-mile-per-hour fastball and power slider that dominated the NCAA. Surely you'll hear more of Dylan Cruz, Whit Langford, and the YouTubing Max Clark in the years to come. But one name you definitely heard of, and will continue to hear for years to come, is Nolan Schanuel, the 21-year-old selected 11th overall by the Anaheim Angels. Nolan made his major league debut just 40 days later and posted an on-base percentage above 400 in 29 big league games. Not bad for a kid living in a college storm just a couple months earlier. The 2023 Home Run Derby featured J-Rod putting on a show in front of his home crowd. Adley homered from both sides of the batter's box, and Mookie was just there for the vibes.
He's got to pull the ball. He's got to hit it in the air to left. Yeah. Do not go to center.
I don't know how. I have no idea how.
But the real story of the night was Vladdy Guerrero Jr. versus Randy Arozarena. Vladdy beat his fellow Cuban by just 2 home runs to become the 2023 Home Run Derby champ. This 2023 Derby made history, as a record 341 home runs were hit for a total distance equivalent to a marathon. And Vlad Jr., along with his father Vlad Sr., became the first father-son duo to win a home run derby. While there was a lot of talk about tweaking the format, and rightfully so, the All-Star Game itself was pretty entertaining. Adolis Garcia and Randy Arozarena made back-to-back leaping catches to start off the game with a flair.
Hey, you can't take hits away and get hits. You got to pick one. That is not fair. He says he's sorry, guys. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. He said he's sorry.
Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman shared their spicy friendship with the rest of the world.
Hi, Fredder. Hi, Mook. I like like you in the outfield.
I know you do.
Everyone wanted Shohei to join their team.
They're chanting, "Come to Seattle." Do you guys want to start your own chant to Shohei?
That would be tampering.
That would be tampering.
You can't do that. I'm not doing any of that.
But if he wants to come, he's more than welcome.
Luis Arraez just kept getting base hits, and Josh Hader was just happy to be there. The Rays were there too, in case you missed it.
From the Texas Rangers, Nathan Eovaldi.
Proof? Well, the underrated Yandy Diaz did go deep.
High drive from Yandy Diaz, and gone!
Even more impressive considering he didn't arrive in Seattle until 2:30 a.m. that morning, because he had stayed behind in St. Pete, awaiting the birth of his son. Yandy Jr. was actually born on Wednesday morning, which Statty Yandy got to see in person after his All-Star Game homer. All's well that ends well. But the real story of the All-Star Game was the other Diaz, Elias Diaz, the 32-year-old journeyman catcher for the Colorado Rockies, who hit a go-ahead 2-run homer in the 8th inning against Felix the Mountain Bautista.
Not going, 2-2 to Diaz, is hit in the air to deep left field, back it goes, Elias Diaz puts the National League in front. At 32 years old in his All-Star debut, a go-ahead home run.
Unexpected? Definitely. But now Diaz's name is forever etched in history as the 2023 All-Star Game MVP, the first Rocky ever to win the award, while Vlad Jr. will forever be remembered as the second Vlad Guerrero to lose his bat at the All-Star Game in Seattle. That, and playing rock, paper, scissors with former teammate Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
A little Rochambeau going between dugouts.
In the bottom of the 9th, things got a bit dicey, thanks to Dodger legend Craig Kimbrell, who walked Kyle Tucker in front of Julio Rodriguez. The script was there for Julio to be the hero in front of his home crowd.
Hollywood scripts for Julio Rodriguez.
He worked the count full before finally drawing a walk himself. That brought J-Ram to the plate, the stuff of nightmares. Well, at least Tim Anderson's nightmares.
Down goes Anderson!
In a 2-2 count, Kimbrell finally struck out Ramirez to secure the NL's 3-2 victory and snap their 10-year losing streak in the Midsummer Classic. It was certainly a dramatic, if not anticlimactic ending. But hey, Kimbrell and Kenley Jansen both collected their 400th career saves in 2023. So show some respect to these Dodger legends. And I'm still waiting for that All-Star Game swing-off, MLB scriptwriters.
Thomas in the air to right field. That's back. Castellanos on the run. And we are tied. Alec Thomas takes the ride of his life.
So now let's get into October baseball, the most wonderful time of the year. The Atlanta Braves were the best team in baseball from start to finish. The Dodgers, despite having the most days on the injured list, still won 100 games. The Astros won the AL West on the final day of the season, and everyone was happy for them. The Tampa Bay Rays won 99 games, even after losing nearly their entire pitching staff and won their Franco for reasons. The Milwaukee Brewers and Minnesota Twins ensured that the Midwest got at least some playoff action. Red October returned for the second year in a row, thanks in no small part to a standing O for second half Trey Turner. And the Blue Jays were there too. The Baltimore Orioles, Texas Rangers, Arizona Diamondbacks, and Miami Marlins all snapped playoff droughts, largely due to very productive drafting and development. The Twins, the Minnesota Twins, finally won a playoff game for the first time since 2004. And they actually won a series, sweeping the Blue Jays before losing in the division series to America's team, the Houston Astros. The Astros were the only ones out of the 4 bye teams to advance past the division series. Now everyone was up in arms over the 12-team playoff format, but you gotta admit, there is something objectively hilarious about the powerhouse Dodgers and Braves choking in the NLDS to a division rival for the second year in a row. The D-backs knocked out the favorite Brewers, the Big Brother Dodgers, and lastly upset the Phillies in Game 7 in front of that lovable, loyal Philly fanbase.
The comeback Diamondbacks. The answer backs. And Arizona will represent the National League in the World Series.
The Rangers steamrolled past the Tampa Bay Rays and 100-win Orioles to face the Houston Astros in a heavyweight Texas showdown for the AL pennant. Led by Daddy Adolis, the Rangers pummeled America's team in Game 7 of the ALCS to set up the much-anticipated Texas Rangers versus Arizona Diamondbacks World Series.
2 years removed from losing 100, the Rangers have won the pennant!
Seriously though, if you predicted these two teams to meet in the World Series at the beginning of the season, or even the beginning of the playoffs, we need to buy you some scratchers. Game 1 in Arlington did not disappoint. After Texas scored first, Arizona battled right back and took a 5-3 lead into the bottom of the 9th, when Dodger legend Corey Seager stepped up to the plate with 2 outs and a runner on first.
Could tie it with one swing.
It's tied! Back. This one is history. The game is tied 5-5.
Seager did his best Tino Martinez impression to tie the game at 5 apiece and send it into extras. In the 11th, El Bombi Adolis Garcia added to his postseason legend with a powerful opposite field walk-off home run off Mets legend Miguel Castro.
Elevado al derecho. ¡Vuela la pelota! ¡Vuela la pelota! ¡Vamos, pelota! El Bombi con bombazo deja tendido a los Arizona Diamondbacks. ¿Quién lo va a frenar? ¡Garcia! ¡Garcia! ¡Garcia!
It felt like we were in for an all-time legendary World Series. Unfortunately, the rest of the series didn't carry the same oomph as Game 1, and the Rangers beat Arizona in 5 games to win their first World Series in franchise history.
It's happened! The Texas Rangers win the World Series!
Ranger fans, you're not dreaming. After 52 years in Texas, 63 years of the franchise, the wait is over, and the celebration has begun.
Look, there was a lot made about this being the worst World Series ever, and the lack of TV ratings, and all that jazz. But here's my 2 counters. 1, it meant something. A lot, actually, to the good people of Texas who waited all their lives for a World Series championship. And of course, the same is true for Arizonans who got to witness an unlikely postseason run that ended in them being in the World Series. Secondly, the way we watch TV, and more importantly, the way we track TV viewership, is rapidly changing. And really, the only reason you should care about ratings is if you're a Fox executive. And even Fox execs don't care that much about it. Now, how optimistic am I about baseball's future heading into 2024? Well, let me put it this way. I feel better about the sport right now than I did entering 2023. Of course, baseball still has its share of potentially sport-altering storylines it will soon need to address. For one, umpiring is about to change dramatically as the automatic strike zone in one way or another seems destined to debut in 2025. And of course, as I just alluded to, MLB is already dealing with the collapse of the regional sports networks, which will change the landscape of sports TV as we know it. On a less apocalyptic note, will the Dodgers choke in October once again after winning the offseason? And when they do, will they also still be paradoxically ruining baseball for teams such as the small market Yankees? Speaking of the Yankees, is the evil empire officially back? Hopefully they are, and hopefully they're great in 2024, because remember, it's good for baseball.
That Yankees and Dodgers being great is good for baseball.
Are the Royals World Series favorites thanks to their free agency splurge and more importantly the presence of back-to-back-to-back World Series champion Will Smith? Is Yoshinobu Yamamoto that one player you can't wait to see debut in 2024? He's certainly mine, but I wonder who's yours. Let me know down in the comments. How many brawls will we see between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Craig Counsell-led Chicago Cubs? And just what the hell is going on in Seattle?
That if we win 54% of our games over the course of a decade, you're going to play in the World Series.
Baseball is certainly not lacking in the drama department. In spite of the countless times that this stupid, silly little sport has broken my spirit and my sanity, I am here for it all. Here's to one hell of a 2024 Major League Baseball season.